Satoshi then declines to offer a hypothesis because databases don't draw conclusions. Any thoughts on that?
I just thought that was kind of funny.
I just think it's funny too.
You don't, but I mean,
No,
that's him. That's him.
We're not reading into it.
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck do you mean? Hello and welcome to another arc of My First Anime. If this is your first time listening to the show, we are a book club style anime podcast where we really deep dive into the anime we are watching. The original concept was that we took three people of varying experience levels and expertise in anime. I am somewhere in the middle, and I'm Chris Bailey.
I am the lazy protagonist, Salvador, also known as Monkey.
And I am the newbie that... Can I say newbie anymore? We've done 7 or 8 now?
Yeah, I mean, relative to us, you'll always be the little baby.
Yeah, relative. Okay, that's true. But my name is Anthony Vaught.
Oh, this is also your first slice of life.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say. So this time, we are going to be talking about Hyouka, which in my quest to continue to keep our name relevant and accurate, this is not only our first actual slice of life, although this is our first Kyoto Animation anime as well. Very
Kyoto.
big, famous studio,
okay.
known for their quality. This was my personal first from Kyoto Animation as well. Let's do our anime minutes, what we've been doing outside of this stuff. Since our last recording in our time, I played through all of Persona 5 Strikers, which that game's good. It's fun to be with those characters again, and it was nice for Yusuke and Haru to get more screen time. Also, the new songs on that soundtrack absolutely fucking slap. Other than that, which if you like Persona 5, I think Strikers is worth it. I watched the first few episodes of Nichijou, and that show is a whole lot of fun. I'm kind of a little glad now that we didn't end up doing it because I don't think there'd be much to talk about.
Oh, really?
Other than
these are filled. These are filled with stuff to talk about.
I could talk a bit about that scene where she drops the sausage. That's really good, but otherwise it's kind of like it'd just be a lot of that was funny, yeah. But yeah, that's my anime minute.
My anime minute. I actually have not been watching a bunch of stuff. I've been in a standstill. I mean, I'm still watching the Spider anime and Jobless Reincarnation, and they're okay. This year of anime is being fantastic though. 2021 is actually pretty good. Devil is a Part-Timer 2 got announced last week, which I'm so excited about. I can't wait for it to come in. Oh, I'm so happy. And then we got the other anime that's coming out.
The other stuff.
I mean, Attack on Titan, the final season's heading, and everybody's loving that. Also, I've been watching a bunch of British television, and if you guys are sleeping on it, watch Taskmaster. It's like the greatest thing ever. It's about 5 comedians, doing tasks. That's all about it. And it's fantastic. They win prizes, and there's this whole thing where they win points and stuff like that. It's just fantastic seeing different comedians doing a task, and everybody are doing it a little bit different from everybody else. It's pretty good. Watch Taskmaster. If you guys are bored with anime and stuff like that, and you guys want to watch some American TV, watch Taskmaster.
British.
Even though it's British.
Anthony?
So which definition of anime minute are we using?
If it's the one where you're going to talk about Valheim, not that one.
All right, so I've been playing a lot of Valheim recently. No, I went on vacation. Just had time to watch the Hyouka stuff. That's really about it right now. I am finishing up some other stuff that apparently that I'm not going to talk about. Not because it's weird, just because it's not non-anime. Yeah. And then that's going to One Piece will be taking up my time after that.
Oh baby, I'm excited for that.
I'm so excited, dude.
Yeah. I'm finishing up a couple audiobooks, and then I'm on to One Piece.
So just a little bit before we jump into Hyouka, when I give Anthony these games to choose our next anime, I generally have two choices that I think are plausible and one like dark horse that I am certain will not be picked and is just completely self-indulgent on my part. And Hyouka is that one. But like it's like I said, completely self-indulgent because I really love this show, actually.
Have you seen it before?
I have, yep.
Okay.
Which is why before we get into it, well, I'll say it at the top of actually starting to talk about it. So introduction real quick. Hyouka came out in 2012. It is adapted from light novels written by Honobu Yonezawa, and it was adapted by Shoji Gato, who also made a series called Full Metal Panic, which I don't know anything about, but I know it's big, long, popular, something like that. Voice actors pretty brisk on this one. We've got our main character, Hotaro Areki, which I apologize. I'm going to be calling him both Hotaro and Areki probably. So sorry. He's voiced by Yuichi Nakamura, who...
That sounds familiar.
It does, but I couldn't figure out where it was from because a lot of these ones also sound familiar. He does Greed in Brotherhood. He does Gray Fullbuster in Fairy Tail. He does Moomin Rider in One Punch Man. He does Bucharity in Vento Arreo.
Oh my god. Hell yeah.
He does Satoru Gojo in Jujutsu Kaisen, which I believe is the hot white hair guy that everyone loves. He does Hawks in My Hero Academia. He does Thancred from Final Fantasy XIV. Ravis from Final Fantasy 15. And Jungi Han / Yonsu Kim from the Yakuza series, which I swear to God we've talked about this guy before. But
yeah, I remember Bushati coming up, and I was saying, hell
but
yeah.
it might have just been the English version. In the English, he's voiced by Adam Gibbs, who did not have any notable roles that stood out to me. Next, we have Eru Chitanda, who is voiced by Satomi Sato, who does the objectively best character from K-On!, Ritsu Tainaka, and Wendy Marvel from Fairy Tail, I believe.
Oh, okay. She's the dragon chick.
Also, do not at me. Ritsu's the best. Fuck off.
That's Mew.
I said don't at me. In the English, she is voiced by Madeline Morris, who also did not have any roles that stood out to me. Next, we have Satoshi Fukube, who is voiced by Daisuke Sakaguchi, who does Shonen Bat from Paranoia Agent, Jacuzzi Splot from Bakano, and unfortunately Mishima from Persona 5. Fuck that guy. In the English, he is voiced by Dallas Reed, who does Asta from Black Clover. I think he's the main character.
Oh, really? Interesting.
And finally, we have Mayaka Ibara, who is voiced by Ai Kayano, who does Rinko Ogasawara from Shirobako, great show, Darkness from Konosuba,
Good.
and Ishtola from Final Fantasy XIV. In the English, she's voiced by Jill Harris, who does Noelle Silva from Black Clover. And before we jump into Hyouka, I have one note that I realized I should probably give you guys. It didn't dawn on me until I was watching it. So this show, obviously, very couched in the mystery genre, in kind of a love letter sort of way. There's some stuff later that is like straight up Agatha Christie, like they do the ABCs of murder without the murder. So the thing about this show is it's about these kids solving mysteries, but as the audience, we're not really, if I'm remembering correctly, given the tools to solve those mysteries alongside them, and we're not really supposed to.
Oh, okay.
Because it's much more about unraveling the characters. And we are given the tools to like deduce things about the characters, and the way this characterization is done is almost like Cowboy Bebop-esque in that the characters don't go through drastic changes. They go through some, but they're more gradual and subtle and like grounded than a lot of anime tends to be. But we're more supposed to try and understand like why these characters are the way they are and like understand them from different perspectives and like even look at it like, when Satoshi is saying that he's a database or whatever, like, for one, what does that mean coming from him? What does that mean coming from Areki? And like, do we trust the narrators in this situation? Like it's a mystery story. It's a very cleverly disguised character drama, let's say.
I'm gonna take your word for it for now.
But yeah, I think that's just something to keep in mind. You're supposed to be analyzing the characters. You're not supposed to be trying to solve the mysteries. With that being said, I also think this is kind of an interesting one to come to from Mob Psycho, given that I don't think I've seen maybe a work of fiction in general where the stakes are lower than in Hyouka.
You're hitting on every fucking point I already have written down, you motherfucker.
And also, Areki and Mob kind of live in a similar space in terms of characterization, which is, I could not stop thinking about Hyouka watching Mob Psycho, because part of the reason Mob never landed for me as a character really is because I think Areki is so well done and so much more compelling, being a similar type of character to Mob, where he's just a passive piece of shit who gets spurred into action by a cute girl.
Well, and then like, I'd agree with you on Mob season 1, right? Season 2, he actually
he does stuff,
has
but
some shit going on.
But he's still very much in that similar vein of character. I think that's all I have to say.
Well, that's literally the only notes I had written down. Shit.
God damn it. All right, let's get into episode 1, the return of the time-honored classic Lit Club. We see cherry blossoms. It's the beginning of high school, and people are recruiting for clubs. And we get Oreki's internal monologue where he starts to talk about high school life. Some people want it to be rosy, filled with like sports and activities and romance, and others just want it to be gray, as he calls it. And that leads into him having that conversation with Satoshi, his friend, kind of snipes back at him like, oh, that's your thing, right? Perennially gray, energy conserving. And he's like, oh, what was your motto again? And Areki says, if I don't have to do something, I don't. If I have to do something, I do it quickly.
Good motto. Good motto. I like that motto a lot. No, it's a good motto. If he doesn't have to do it, you don't have to do it.
It leaves no room for adventure or progress.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, this show, that was the other thing I wanted to say. Like, I know it's hard writing notes, and well, you guys probably aren't writing notes because you're fucking clowns. But reading the subtitles, try and watch, like, not only the foreground characters, but the background characters. There's so much detail in this show, especially in people's like body language and facial expressions, that gives away so much. And that's beside the show being like absolutely gorgeous and having so much detail in it.
Okay, before we get past it, so is everybody watching this subbed, or is anybody watching it dub?
I watched one dub for funsies, but mostly sub.
Okay, and I'm guessing you watched the sub, and I'm watching the sub.
Yes.
I think everybody is watching it into the Funimation app. I was just gonna say the app is garbage. The subtitles are bad because they'll look like they'll typed in subtitles.
It
like
uses system level subtitles, I think. Yeah. But kind of to your point, Anthony, like, yeah, that is a lame motto. And I think like Areki knows that, or at the very least, the idea of calling it a motto is kind of dumb to him. And it's like Satoshi's thing.
Yeah. Does he psychoanalyze right now?
Satoshi? I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
What better friend to have between these two? Like some dude who like, because being psychoanalyzed half the time would be so fucking annoying. But like, he's just like, yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I think they established through that pretty quickly that like, oh, these two are like best friends and have been for a while.
At least, I think he said he's at least known since middle school. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I was kind of like, honestly, because he was like going through the shit and I was like, dude, shut up. And I was like, wait, well, at least he's not talking about me, Yeah. And I was like, well, and then he doesn't seem to mind. I guess with that motto, really nothing really can get on your nerves as long as you're efficient about things. And Satoshi's not like affixing his glasses while he does it. He's teasing him. Yeah. And that's another thing that I just really, really like about the show that I think so many things have a hard time with is that these characters feel like, all four of them as a group feel like they're friends.
like legitimately. And I think that's something fiction has such a hard time with. They say these characters are friends, and then you watch it and just accept it, but it doesn't really feel right when you step back most of the time. But yeah, we'll talk more about everyone's dynamic as we go, I'm sure. But the Hotaro Satoshi is very, very good. Areki reveals that he's going to be joining the Classic Lit Club because he got a letter from his sister who is in India fucking around. Like she sends him another letter later that made me think like, hold up, is his sister like pulling some Alexis from Schitt's Creek stuff? Because she's like, hey, I'm stuck in the consulate. Oops.
Oh yeah.
She does talk about that.
And Satoshi's like, oh, you have to do it because she would beat you up with her Aikido if you didn't, right? Which I don't know if you guys caught. I think it comes a little later that his sister graduated 2 years ago, so she's not that much older than him.
Yep. It says that.
Oh, I guess like probably 6 years, I guess, because he's a freshman, or 5 years, however it works out. He goes to the Classic Lit Club, or he goes to get the room. He talks about how there's going to be no other members in it, just him, so it doesn't get disbanded. He passes other people, and right away we get to see his kind of internal contradictions where he's like, I salute you people who are more active, before he talks about his philosophy on energy conservation.
So stupid.
But it's all, I think it's so easy to make this character just be a complete shithead. But he's out there being like, yeah, this is my way of life. And hey, you people out there doing your sports and stuff, good on you guys. Well done.
I think rewatching these first episode after watching all four, the first episode left a bad taste in my mouth because it's setting up. I don't know if it's just because the anime we've watched, but it's setting up him being a shithead.
Totally.
And that's why I was kind of like, he rubbed me the wrong way the first episode and a half or so.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just this conservation of energy, like half emo kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty silly.
And I was kind of like, man, where's the depression like the rest of us millennials?
That's a good question. Maybe that's something to keep in mind with Areki.
Oh my gosh, he doesn't have his sister. He's just putting that together. This might get more interesting.
He gets to his club room and he slowly walks in. As all the music cuts, we just hear his footsteps. There's a girl at the window. She turns and smiles at him. And then he goes, huh? And we go to the opening theme of Yasashisa no Ryu, performed by Chocho. How do we feel about this?
It was
Not
really
bad.
funny because I was like, man, this sounds familiar
Wow.
from picking it the fucking 2 weeks ago.
You know what's funny?
I still like
Sorry, go
it.
ahead.
I was just going to say I like it overall.
Yeah. It's actually grown on me since you picked it. Like the first time I watched Hyouka, I really wasn't that big on it, but I've kind of turned a corner on it.
I can see it growing on me. Like it's not a bad theme song. It's a nice theme song.
Yeah, and the animation that accompanies it, I think you could totally Mother's Basement the shit out of this intro, dude. Which is a channel that Monkey showed me a while ago, where someone analyzes intros to spoil the entirety of shows.
Yeah, is the guy just like literally he analyzed the.
Oh, I think we talked about this very briefly, where like a lot of animes like literally have like the ending of shows sometimes in the fucking title sequences.
Yeah, you can see that, and like you can see like symbolism of like random stuff that happens in the opening and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you remember in Mob Psycho, spoiler if you guys didn't watch Mob Psycho with us, there's a big giant broccoli, and that's supposed to spoil the fact that Mob makes a big giant broccoli at the end of the show.
Yeah, but it's not like
No, it's just symbolic of what happens in the show.
because I don't think that gives away any plot elements.
Yeah. When we come back from that, we meet Chitanda Eru formally. Areki has no clue who she is. She knows exactly who he is because they're in an elective class together. They had one day, and he's like, what the hell?
She got a good memory.
Yeah. The music here is kind of weird, I think, but also great. She says she joined the club for personal reasons, to which Areki's like, all right, later. He starts to leave and then realizes that, wait a minute, the door was locked. She doesn't have a key. How did she get in here? He poses that question, and she confronts him with her eye sparkle and backs him against the door.
The patented eye sparkle.
Mm-hmm.
So is he crushing on her at the beginning?
I see. That's something else that we're going to talk about a little bit more in the next episode, but I totally think that literally from go, these two probably have feelings for each other. They just don't really know what to do with it or what to make of it yet.
Or it could even be like, I think it's simpler than that. Honestly, I think it's just she's got a lot on her plate, like at least in her mind, you know. Which, depending on how big this super overarching controversy is, it could be that she has a lot on her plate, like objectively, not subjectively.
Yeah,
and that just may be taking her time and stuff, thinking about feelings and stuff.
sure, totally.
And that's kind of what boat I'm driving right now. Is that I believe his motto is still strong, and that if he doesn't have to do it, he's not going to. But I think he's got attraction to her, and I
but
think
if he
she's
does,
too busy.
he's gonna do it fast.
Oh yeah. Wait, high school? No, hold
wait.
on. No.
Shit.
I don't. I mean, I can see these guys get together, but like at the very beginning, I just thought this was just like a companion thing. Like they both just met each other and just becoming really good friends. I mean, it probably would go romantic just because this is an anime, but like I could just see these two people just being really good friends to each other.
Yeah, totally. And I think that is definitely a conversation that is something to keep in mind as we go through the series, especially from Chitanda's perspective. I think it's a lot easier to make the case that Areki is crushing hard on her, especially given some imagery in episode 2 and 3.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, you could also, I guess, if you really wanted to, make the case that he feels something, he just doesn't know what it is, and that's the obvious conclusion.
That's the way I look at it. Like he just doesn't understand why it is. Like he's like not falling for the girl, but just is doing more work because of this girl.
Satoshi, meanwhile, is spotted eavesdropping. Gotta hide better, my man.
I didn't even see him.
Oh no, dude, he wanted to be caught.
He was invisible.
I mean, come on, dude. To me, this guy just wanted to be caught.
He was the epitome of spies, like just the perfect. fucking-
Okay.
Satoshi is probably the most subtle person I've ever seen in an anime. He comes in and starts jabbering about like, "Ooh, I saw you talking with a girl by the window."
I had to come check that shit out.
Yeah. Chitanda tries to protest, and eventually they move on and stop caring about that pretty quickly. And we get the first instance of Satoshi just rattling off information where he tells us about the power families of Kamiyama, I believe is where they are.
That sounds familiar.
And the Chitanda family is a family of farmers, and they're like super rich and important. And Satoshi talks about how great she is.
It's got to be humbling, right?
Yeah. Whatever, dude. Satoshi's just everyone's hype man.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I didn't look at it like that.
We set up our locked room mystery because Satoshi is in on solving this as well, because of course he is. Dude will never fuck off when you want him to. And
The only unfortunate part about being a hype man.
yeah. We get the first instance of him referring to, I don't know if he refers to himself or Areki calls him it, but him being referred to as a database.
Yeah.
I think it's self-proclaimed.
Yeah. And we get Chitanda's first I am curious, which causes Areki to become wrapped in hair.
What?
As the entire scene changes to this like pinkish hue thing as hair spiders all over the room.
Happening?
He's
This
getting
was so
ensnared
random.
by her, dude.
Heck yeah.
Whatever.
Hey, it looks pretty.
Yeah.
It did.
Well, is this one of those things? It's just later on in the episodes we'll realize this is just his imagination of random stuff.
Yeah, no shit.
It goes
Yeah.
against my thoughts and feelies.
And then Areki starts to do some deduction, and Chitanda hears some rattling around down below. We get a montage of the janitor and mystery solved. And I don't know why. I fucking love every time she does this, but Chitanda gets so uncomfortably close to Areki, and he backs up, and then she puts her face closer to his.
Yeah,
Like,
she
girl
just
has
keeps
no
getting
concept of
closer.
personal space.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah, and he's always trying to back away and like avert his eyes.
Respect boundaries. that she just does not have.
Nope. And we get teased of a little old building outside the window. And Satoshi decides that between his handicrafts club and his other clubs that he's in, he will also join the classic lit club because it seems like fun.
This guy's busy. Also, just saying, kind of want to join a handicraft club. That just sounds fun.
Yeah, dude, with that costume he makes, hell yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there. She holds out her hand. Oh, she holds out her hand. And I think Areki gets wrapped in hair again.
Yeah, it happens twice. So I remember that.
Yeah. And then hands her the application to turn in. We see them walking home, and he does a little internal monologue of how he's determined to conserve energy. But Chitanda is going to be a problem for that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. He knows.
And more rose petals happen. And then we cut to later, another day, another week, who knows?
Surprisingly, not the end of the anime. Like, after this, I thought it was the end of the anime, and it was like, oh, we still have a little bit left.
Satoshi is talking about he's telling a ghost story about how someone saw a ghost in the music room because they heard it playing Moonlight Sonata and no one was on the piano. They saw a spirit with like messed up hair and bloodshot eyes. And Areki's like, did that really happen? And Satoshi's like, I don't know, man.
I'm just going to say I love the animation. When they do these story animations, it's so fucking great. And I can't wait to watch more of them.
And he makes reference to the 7 wonders of Kamiyama. And Areki's like, hold on a damn minute. Who told you this? Who told you this story? And of course, it was Chitanda. So he asked what the first wonder is.
Yeah, that was strange. It was the second. They start the story on the second wonder.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the more exciting one.
Yeah.
Chitanda shows up, and we learn about the first wonder, which is a secret recruitment memo for a club called the Joro Spider Society. And they decide to look for the club. We see them at a bulletin board looking over the clubs, and Areki gets buried in an avalanche of kanji because he can't handle all those clubs.
Nope. But you did forget to discuss, like, I don't remember what the girl's name is.
Chitanda?
Yeah, Chitanda does come into the thing. The main character forgot his fucking homework. And so he has to do his homework after class, which is why he's out there. And she's like, oh, do you guys know about the mystery about the second wonder? Oh, that's what the thing is. And he's like, oh, no. Oh, tell about the fucking first wonder. And he's like actively trying to push the first wonder. And me as an audience, I'm like, why is he trying to push this wonder so hard? And then we could get to the scene that you're talking about the whole bulletin board and stuff like that.
Yeah. And we will learn why he was pushing that first one so hard.
Yeah.
Noble reasons only. You find a small note behind a different poster. They part with Chitanda after finding it and being like, whatever, that's it, I guess. And we learn Areki's elaborate plan. He set this all up because the music room is too far away.
Yep.
And he just wanted to be by the entrance when he sated her curiosity so he could go home.
I love that. He makes a note and everything.
But then Satoshi, his BFF, hits him with, hey, man, you're just making excuses. Like, why didn't you just say, I don't know, like you usually do?
Just calling him out on his bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily bullshit, but...
No, I bet his friend knows. I bet Satoshi knows that...
Well, yeah, because he's already pointed out, like, trying to embarrass him a couple times. Like,
he knows. He's just making fun of his friend.
Yeah, Satoshi's constantly fucking with Areki.
Yeah, I love this relationship. These guys' relationship is good.
They talk about, and he goes on to say, like, how that's not like him. And Areki kind of has a little thing of, like, I guess the usual me can be on hold for a little bit because we have to deal with this fucking girl. And then Areki just kind of casually solves the music ghost. And Satoshi goes to leave him, and he's like, hey, man, that stunt you pulled, gonna backfire.
Yep, I bet it does backfire.
Which one's he talking about?
Solving the first thing.
The Spider Society, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm pretty sure that's not the, what do you call it, the solution. I bet that story is true.
No, he planted it there.
Well, so you're saying that story is not true, the one he said? And he just made up a bullshit solution?
For which one?
For the first one, though.
Yeah, Areki put that note there.
Yeah, but I'm saying that is that first wonder. To me, I think that first wonder story is correct. I think Areki put a bullshit solution so he doesn't have to do anything afterwards.
You know what? I may have been note riding. I didn't see him plant that.
Yeah, because when he talks about it, he's like, oh, so that's why you needed like the ruler and pins and stuff. Yeah, he tells him that's going to backfire. And then we get the ending. The ending is Madarome no Yakusoku, and is actually sung by the voice actors for Chitanda and Mayaka, which is a neat detail. And the lyrics make it a little better, but this is about as horny as the show gets.
Yeah, I didn't like that ending.
And it's kind of weird.
I watched it once. I haven't watched it all the way through since.
There's
Then
jokes
again,
to
I
be
just
made
watched
there.
the show. Well, then again, I just watched the show today, so I might watch some tonight. I don't know. We'll see.
Episode 2, the prestigious Classic Lit Club's activities. Areki wakes up. We get a recap of the letter from his sister and learn that a month has passed. We see him and Chitanda chilling in the club room, and she's sharing her snacks with him.
This is one where they were like kind of bored, right? They were just like, "Fuck,
Yep.
something going on." Yeah.
He's talking more about like, oh, I don't mind being around people. I just don't want to be worn out, which same, bro. I get it.
I'm gonna ask though, what the fuck is this club about? Is it about reading like classical little books or something, or about making a fucking newsletter? Calling it fucking classic
I don't know.
lit club like makes no goddamn sense. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you guys do? Do you guys do grammar? Like, I don't know what this club is supposed to represent.
They don't do a damn thing.
I assume it's supposed to be about classical literature, but Areki ain't having none of that shit. Chitanda's got her own stuff to do. Satoshi doesn't give a fuck. And honestly, neither does Mayaka, so. But yeah, like you said, they're just reading in silence. Chitanda says, "This is fruitless." And Areki comes back with, "You mean planting 2 crops a year?" And she's like, "No, that's double cropping." And there's just like a perfectly timed
God
beat of silence before she gets in
damn
his
it.
face. Like, will you try to make a joke?
I just understood that joke now.
Orange, that joke is a lot more funnier coming from your mouth than the fucking animation.
They got to work on their deliveries.
Dude, I thought the delivery was so good. Well, I don't know about that joke itself because it's like whatever. But her just like answering sincerely and then pausing for a second and then going, "Wait a goddamn minute, you're making a joke." It's so good.
I also think it lands better after we saw the farm too. It like solidifies that. Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna say, Owens, you delivered that joke better than the anime did. I'm just gonna give you that right now.
You ever thought about writing anime?
Yeah. I have been sent several cease and desists. Chitanda says that her club time is fruitless. The club time is fruitless because they're not doing anything. So Areki asks her what she wants to get out of the club. And then she says it's personal again. But they should do some activities. They should do an anthology for the Culture Fest, which I want to know, when did you guys kind of start to think that Chitanda was playing him a little bit?
At the very beginning,
Oh, okay.
when she was like, "It's personal."
But you thought, I mean, at this point, you're like, oh, she's just like pretending to do other shit to get to what she needs. You didn't think she was being sincere and everything?
Oh, I mean, like kind of almost to Sal's credit earlier, like it's called the Classic Lit Club, but she's not interested in classical literature. He's not interested in anything. So I mean, she's obviously there. Like, I wouldn't say it's playing him, right? She's not like lying actively to him. She's just not telling him the full truth.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I look
So
at it.
it depends on what you mean by playing, I guess.
But I mean, because she wants, it's like, oh, we should do an anthology. But she just says it with the motive of seeing the old anthologies.
I gotcha. I didn't pick up on any of that. I was just like, yeah, let's do an anthology. Remember, I was in like this is kind of, they've solved like 2 shitty mysteries so far. And I wasn't too sold on the characters at all.
I'm just saying, Owens is completely like, that makes complete sense, Owens, that she's playing him. I mean, she is a top tier student, whatever that's fucking called. I don't remember.
She's an honor student.
Honor student, that's what it is.
Somehow.
Yeah. No, there must be a reason why she's an
book
honor
smart.
student, and now I know. She's playing this guy. She's playing him for all his money. She's like, this guy knows how to solve crimes or solve whatever.
Dude, she's rich as hell. He's not.
Yeah, exactly. She just needs his mind. That's all. So All I'm gonna say, hot take scissor sizzle. At the end of this anime, she's gonna kill him, take his brain, and put in a robot.
Yep, you got it. Well done.
Yeah.
They look through the old issues, don't find them. So they decide to go check the library, where we get to meet Mayaka. And her and Areki immediately start sniping at each other, which is great.
So, I just want to make sure I understand the relationship.
Yes.
What's her name is Mayaka, right?
Mayaka Ibara. Yes.
Mayaka or Mayaki? Sorry.
Mayaka Ibara.
Mayaka. Okay. So her and the database.
Satoshi Fukube. Okay, so I was actually going to talk about this, so we can do it now.
Okay.
I absolutely love how they handle this, because the whole thing with that is Mayaka has had a crush on Satoshi since middle school. They're not dating.
Yeah.
But like they drop it so like everyone knows. She knows everyone knows. Everyone knows everyone knows. And it's just a thing. And they move on with their life, and they're still friends and they hang out.
Yeah.
But that is she had a crush on him in middle school, still does, very obviously. And just everyone knows it. And that's the whole thing.
Okay.
And I really like that, because nothing ever does that dynamic.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got that correctly, because it looked like Oreki and her like instantly started jabbing at each other, like you said. Mm-hmm. And so after that got explained, I was kind of like, I bet that she was hanging out with like him and Satoshi,
Yeah.
quite a bit, and then that's kind of how they became kind of jabby friends, you know? Because you always get to know the friends of your friends, and I guess she seems like she's got that personality to be jabby. And honestly, I didn't expect him to return that like much as he did.
Yeah, that's another thing I love about this show. They feel like well-rounded people.
Yep.
Okay, which is okay, but I think he's lying to himself.
Oh, maybe. Who knows?
Can you stop spoiling it, Orange?
I didn't spoil
It's not-
anything.
Can you have a better poker face?
I can see your smile through the audio.
Yeah, I know,
file,
dude.
okay?
It's not that hard.
But yeah, and I think kind of probably what brought that confusion on for you, I'm guessing, is Satoshi then comes in and mocks them like, hey, glad to see you two are getting along as well, good as ever. Kamiyama's best couple or whatever.
I don't know if that kind of solidified my like. That's probably when I had the idea of like, I wonder when they were, because I bet that they all are like hanging out a lot because she likes him and they're friends and stuff.
Yeah, and then Mayaka actually hits back at him with, come on, man, that's not funny. You know how I feel.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, exactly.
Which is like, oh, okay, you guys are really just super casual about this. She's like, I'm in love with you, bro. Come on.
It's nice seeing like young adults have some emotional stability in anime.
Yeah, what a wild concept. They talk about the Culture Fest, which is abbreviated as Kanyasai, and they kind of brainstorm a little bit as to potentially where that name came from. We learned that Mayaka is a member of the manga club, and she has no clue what's going on with these things, so they're going to wait 30 minutes for the librarian to come back. In the meantime, she tells them about this mystery where this 50-year history book is checked out every week at lunchtime and returned after school. And they look into that, find out that it was checked out by different people every time. Initially, Areki does not want to do it. Chitanda tries really hard to convince him before Mayaka eventually shushes them. Chitanda gets kind of like downtrodden, and Areki's like, God damn it, fine.
No, before this, there was a very great scene when he's, I think she's telling the story and he just starts creeping out.
Oh, yeah.
And then Chitanda fucking just grabs him and he's like, yeah, you're not getting away. We're solving this mystery. I fucking love that. That's just a great thing. I just love him sneaking, trying to run away.
He knows exactly what's coming. He's like,
Yeah.
They start to brainstorm about what could happen or why it happened, and everyone has really stupid ideas. I know Mayaka suggests that maybe they were being used as a pillow.
Bad idea. That's what I'm saying.
I forget what Satoshi and Chitanda's ideas were, but they were also pretty stupid.
I don't remember what Satoshi's is, but Chitanda's is a pickle press.
Oh, yeah, hers was a pickle press.
Yep. And then Owoki's like, Owokai, whatever, how you pronounce his name
Oreki.
is. Yeah, he's like, I'm going to stop asking you guys. He's like, these are just dumb ideas.
Yeah.
God damn it, the old-fashioned book pickle press.
Yep.
Yeah, man. They think some more before eventually hit a dead end until Chitanda smells something. And Areki has an idea about what it could be, and he tells Chitanda, who is going to go get to the bottom of it, and of course tries to drag him along.
Yeah, because she says specifically it smells like paint thinner, right?
Yeah, I think so. And we get Areki's little dinner vision where he's at the end of a really long table and Chitanda is dressed as a maid, offering him two menus, the gray menu and the rosy menu. He tries to point to the gray course and she grabs his hand and forces it onto the rosy one. Mayaka is also curious and wants to see the result of this, so she accompanies them, and Satoshi's left to man the library, and he's not pleased.
I love that. She's like, yeah, I want to go too. I guess you have to man the library. I mean, I can't just leave my job.
Which, dude, just especially Mayaka, just watch people's facial expressions in the background. They're so good. She fucking narrow eyes Areki so much. It just gives them a look of like, God damn, this guy. They're walking over and Areki is giving us the explanation and mystery solved. Chitanda hits him with the sparkle eyes again and starts to talk about his brain and how she wishes she could get in there, poke around.
Oh, wait, hold on. Monkey might be right. His hot take might be right. Oh, no.
I'm going to say the solution of this one is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, it makes an amount of sense.
It's simple.
No. Why did you just leave the book in the classroom?
Because they have to return it. They probably can't carry it, or like they probably can't leave it in the class over the weekend. Someone would have to
just put it on the fucking teacher's desk for fucking a week. Like I don't know. It just seems like it seems too much work to like.
Well, no, it's a club. It was a club borrowing it, not a class. I think.
Was it a club?
So there isn't a teacher. I think so.
No, this was during school hours. Isn't clubs?
Oh yeah, because they
like
took it during
class,
lunch. You're right. You're right. Yeah, I don't know.
And can't the teacher just say, hey, I'm just going to borrow this book, librarian, for fucking so many weeks? I'll bring it back to you. Like, I don't know. It just seems like this whole like thing, I was like, why? Like, what? Why is the fucking kids coming in, checking out this book?
We have to establish that she's got a super nose.
Oh, okay, I guess.
Yeah, I honestly did not remember this stuff. So watching it now and like her hearing the sound and her smelling stuff and even maybe spotting Satoshi, like I wonder if they're trying to use this stuff to like set her up as just a perceptive person, because kind of the whole thing is, you know, they all have their strengths and weaknesses and shit.
Oh, I'm getting that 100% because you got the database, you got she's fucking perceptive as fuck, and then he puts everything together.
Except for the part where she can't tell Areki does not want her nose inside of her mouth, his mouth. Well, I mean, he
ate
might,
for dinner
but
and shit.
I think this is the part where Areki kind of thinks about Chitana and is like, how the hell is this girl an honor student? And she talks about how like, oh, I'm just good at taking tests. I'm really good at like seeing the individual parts of stuff rather than your mode of thinking, which is like putting stuff together. There are no issues in the stacks, so they have come up empty here. And Chitanda is clearly up to something as she goes on her like, but maybe with Areki. And then he's like, what are you mumbling about over there? She's like, nothing. It's personal, fucker.
How are you just going to let that shit just slip like that?
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. They set her up as like being perceptive, but girl has literally no situational awareness.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I think that's I mean, obviously they have their whole things, you know?
Yeah. Chitanda calls Areki and wants to meet him. They go and meet at the cafe Pineapple Sand. The music here in this scene is great. It's so overly dramatic. And God, there's so much fucking shit in this scene, you guys. I love this scene.
I did not like this scene.
Oh, there's so much in it. First, there's the difference of the coffee, where Chitanda is just playing with hers and Areki's is empty. Obviously implying that like she's been doing all the talking and he's just sitting there like, yep, whatever, and drinking his coffee. And she's obviously more nervous about what's happening.
Well, even calls it out.
Yeah. And Areki makes a joke about, it's like, oh, did you call me here to confess your love to me? Which is such a weird thing for him to say. What do you make about that? What do you make of that?
I don't know. I thought that was an option at this point.
But do you think he would call that out?
I think,
like, does that seem up to this point? Does that feel like something Areki would like just throw out there?
At this point, up to this, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say completely agree with Anthony. I think I think he just wants to get to the meat and bones of the conversation.
He's efficient, bro.
That's true.
He's like, look, if you can confess your love, confess your love. Like, I don't have all day for this.
So I can say nah and get on my way.
Exactly.
I ain't got time for this shit. I got sleeping to do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean,
Got sleeping to do.
fucking the girl woke him up. He was sleeping, having a good
Yeah,
old
it's pretty
time,
rude, honestly.
conserving his energy, and then he gets waking up by this fucking call, and then he shows up at the fucking coffee shop, and this girl is not telling him what she wants from him for the longest time. Of course, I'll be pissed.
And it ends on a shot of some ice rattling in a glass.
All right, so here's the issue I had.
Yes.
These motherfuckers cliffhanger us on like a right. She's like, I'm about to tell you, and then they cliffhanger, and then they start off with like some more like I'm gonna tell you, and then they cliffhanger again with the song. It was so fucking annoying, dude. I really
I
did
can
not
see
like
that.
that.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, I do love the scene where he's just straight up says, walks, gets up and about to walk away. He's like, yeah, I'm just leaving, and she's like, yeah, don't go. Like, I'm gonna tell you. And he's like, okay, and then he's just sat back down. I just love that. I was like, yeah, if you're not gonna tell me, you're not gonna tell me. Either tell me or not.
Yeah. But we continue in episode 3, the circumstances of the classic lit club Scion. We pick right back up in the cafe. And after he says that, we get a shot of the clock, which has a heart pendulum.
Yeah, I thought that was random as fuck. I was like, why is there a heart pendulum in this clock? Is this like, I don't want to say, is this is not like a love cafe, right? Like, he's the one that chose this place.
Yep.
She chose it.
No, Areki chose it.
Oh, he did.
Yep. It's probably close to his house.
Yeah, it's probably close to his house. So it might be just a love cafe or just a cafe for...
No, so actually we get a shot at the end of this scene, and the pendulum is not a heart.
Oh,
so it's
really?
one of like one of the things in Areki's head.
Oh,
and like
okay.
there it feels like there's a weird bit of time fuckery in this scene too, where it feels like as she's building up to it, time is almost slowed down. And again, from like Areki's perspective, like, and how he's experiencing this moment.
So you think he was nervous that she was actually going to confess his love?
Absolutely. And whether it was good nervous or bad nervous remains to be seen, I guess. But
Yeah, he probably like, hopefully she says no. Like, hopefully it's not like that, so I don't have to get in a relationship, so I could just be lonely and go to sleep and stuff like that.
although honestly, he probably doesn't even know at that point. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, then we have the buildup, and she has a favor to ask. As soon as she says she has a favor to ask, like there's this weird snap back as we get like sucked back to reality. The colors all revert from like the bright hues they were before. The pendulum goes back, and I think he even gets like his second coffee that he ordered at the beginning around this time. And she then talks about the favor, where she talks about her uncle has been missing in India for 7 years, and he was a member of the classic lit club. She asked him about it when she was a little girl, about something to do with the classic lit club, and he was reluctant to answer. But when eventually when she did get the answer, she cried. But she doesn't remember what he told him or what he told her. So she tries to recruit Areki to see if they can figure it out. Areki initially refuses, thinking in his mind, he frames it as like he doesn't want to be responsible for whatever it ends up being, right? Like if it's something bad, he doesn't want to be responsible for that.
So he was kind of looking into it like a, God, what's the Schrodinger's cat or whatever kind of mindset.
Explain.
Whereas if he is the one to give her almost like kill the messenger kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Similar
Sure.
to that kind of style of like, if I'm the one that tells you, you're going to blame me for it.
Okay. So you think he was being sincere with that in a way.
I think if you're it's hard to tell because I don't know enough about him yet, which is one of the reasons why I was very like dull the first couple episodes watching the show. Because it's a character drama and I don't know the fucking character.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was kind of hard to get into. And so based on like what we've been talking about and what I've remember about the scene, it seems to me like if he maybe slightly likes her but hasn't thought about it or hasn't given any context, I think that is a sincere thought that like, hey, I don't want this the woman that I possibly like to be upset with me in any way.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes like helping her figure this highly personal thing out because she's going to associate that with me.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I didn't even consider that. I think that's a good reading. I totally just took it as like him just, kind of refusing, but making the excuse to himself in a way that he feels like he's protecting her by not doing it. Like she's better off not knowing, that kind of thing. I do like your idea too, though, for sure. I think that I probably like it more. Then she tells him that she doesn't share this stuff with just anyone. So she doesn't feel comfortable just like going around and asking people.
Yeah, because of course that's his first question is why me?
Yeah, like why don't you go to like Satoshi and Mayaka and like teachers and shit? And then she says that once someone has been missing for 7 years, they can legally be declared dead. And she wants to get the answer before his funeral so that she can have that in her heart. We get another Areki vision of a young Chitanda digging around in sand while he sits on a bench.
Young Chitandri was so cute. That was really good animation. Although I can't stop for every time it's good animation because that would just be the whole podcast.
Yes, it's a absolutely beautiful show. What? Any thoughts on that vision?
I feel like I don't know. I need to see more visions to have a better understanding of why and when he does the visions the way he does. Because so far we've seen 4, and 2 of them are kind of the same with the hair.
Mm-hmm.
2 hairs. We've had the maid outfit where he makes her like choose the red pill, basically.
She red pills
Bad
him.
phrasing. Yeah, bad phrasing.
Men go their own way.
The rosy form of childhood, or not childhood, Jesus, high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one just seemed like he was like watching her look for stuff, like finding answers. And I don't know if maybe it's supposed to make him kind of like internalize, like, hey, that she needs help,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. Or maybe like it saddens him to see her just out there doing. That's why she was younger. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
The fact
totally.
that she was young was a little confusing, but
I think paternal is probably the wrong word, but it probably, invoked a sort of, he wants to not just help her, but protect her in a way. And like seeing her just dig around aimlessly and at random for something he knows she's not going to find while he watches and is much more capable. He has the thing echo in his head that was in his sister's letter that's like, hey, you have nothing else you want to do, right? And he eventually agrees in his own way with his set of conditions. We get another shot of his coffee being gone, and then we go to midterms. He gets another letter from his sister, which is the moment I alluded to earlier, which is like, hey, I'm in the Istanbul consulate because I made an oopsie.
I do love that.
Oopsie.
I love that so much. I like his the letters from the sister. I really like them a lot.
Yeah. This letter tells him where the anthologies are in the biology prep room. Reki obviously gets dragged along. Like they start to go and she runs back, is like, come on. We see the things on the wall and the door is locked to the wall newspaper club, and they notice a weird smell. The guy comes out.
Wait, did they notice already?
Yeah, Areki noticed a weird smell, I think. Because
Yeah, okay.
Chitanda has a cold, I believe. Like, she sneezed a couple times. She's sick, so she can't smell.
I know he noticed the air freshener. I know that.
Yeah, he noticed the things on the wall, and then he notices the air
things from
freshener
the
smell.
wall, and then the air freshener. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he was like, cologne? Wait, no, air freshener.
Yeah. This is an easily solvable mystery. Dude's fucking blazing it.
In my head, they were like tobacco, and I was like, that motherfucker was getting down and dirty with the devil's lettuce. Ain't no.
You know it, dude. He walks out that door, you can tell he's high as hell.
It's just one of those things that, like, I don't think none of these kids would tattle if the guy was smoking. You know what I mean? It's like,
But he doesn't
we
know
just,
that.
We just
Yeah.
want the fucking books. Like, I
But
don't know.
also, as we learn, he's part of an important family, but not as
Super,
important
super
as the
cult.
Chitandas.
Yeah.
Because he gets very nervous when he learns that, oh, she's a Chitanda.
That is true. Yeah, he did.
Or Reki, or the guy's like, no, you can't come in. Or Reki's like, all right, later. And Mayaka goes and stops him and does the very casual arm over the shoulders. We're just hanging out talking. And it's like, hey, something's going on with this guy, right? And he's like, yeah, obviously. Chitanda says if they're not there, they'll have to search the whole school. So Reki comes back, is like, I would also like to look.
That's so good. I love that. I do like the fact he has that flash in his mind of him looking around the whole school. It's just like, this can't be done. We need to find him now.
Yeah. So we get in the room. Chitanda sneezes again to reiterate that she has a cold. And they have no luck. And then Areki starts his play of like, mate, this is a big room. Maybe we should go get some like teachers to help us look. And the guy starts to flip the fuck out because he's paranoid because he's high. And they go through basically the whole thing of intimidating him, and they start to leave. And it's like, hey, if you find them, deliver them to us, okay? And as he leaves, he's like, Areki hits him with the, sorry, it came to this.
They both are giving each other mean eyes, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. We learn that the guy is a Togaito that family has influence over secondary education, so it'd be real bad if he was caught doing illegal stuff. And they hang out for a minute and go back and, hey, the anthologies are in the room. Areki explains all the stuff we just went over, and Satoshi comes in and he's a sunflower.
I do love that though, because they're not sitting outside the classroom, but they're sitting somewhere. I don't remember who's the one who says it, but she's like, "What are we out here?" And he's like, "Oh, conserving energy."
Yeah,
which I thought was funny. And then they go inside the room, and then the whole scene. But yeah,
and
sunflower.
Satoshi's a sunflower.
Yep,
man's killing it in Handicrafts Club. Satoshi's just having a great time, dude.
He's definitely fucking all over that rosy high school experience.
Mm-hmm. But then they're fucking around. They're happy. They're looking through stuff. And Areki notices that Chitanda seems a little down. So he goes and asks her what's wrong. And she has Hyouka, the title of the series, guys. Volume 2.
Seems important.
It makes reference to her uncle, Sekitani Jun. How he went from a hero to a legend, and something happened that shouldn't be remembered. Chitanda starts to have her doubts, and Areki encourages her, reminding her that she wants to find out, and it can't be that bad, right? We should figure it out. We've come this far.
Dude, I'm so fucking confused on how, like, bad or, like, deep or, like, how important this is. Because it's the overarching, like, backstory plot, but so far we've solved the case of a sleeping student, how to unlock doors, and
getting high,
and getting high, which involved the high-tech skill of just smelling.
Which is why I said at the beginning, it's not about the mysteries, it's about the characters.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering, like, because I don't know how far this is gonna go. Like, they could literally throw it like, oh yeah, it was just like the student revolt, like, which we'll get into later or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or like in my head, like, I instantly went to like the bad shit, like, oh fuck, there's a sex scandal, there's like money laundering going on. Like, I went straight to like the hard shit just because like that's I don't know, maybe the American mind.
After seeing 4 episodes, do you still think this is that kind of show?
No, but like, I still think it'd be almost as funny if it was, though.
It turns into Yakuza at the end. Areki rips off his shirt on top of a roof and fights a crime boss.
Yeah, there you
go. And we learned that they're missing issue 1, and the episode ends there. Did you guys notice that at the end of each episode it says Niece of Time?
Yes.
So I think that's how they mark their arcs. Like, I think that's going to change later. And I think they're all references to like famous mystery books. Daughter of Time. I don't think it's Agatha Christie. I forget who wrote it, but Daughter of Time is a famous mystery book. So, Niece of Time. Chitanda's looking into her uncle. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So episode 4, The Classic Lit Club's Glorious Days of Yore. They're walking home, and they talk about the statute of limitations a little bit.
Yeah, does that mean anything else?
Explain.
Than what I think it is? I'm pretty sure statute of limitations, the only definition I know of is like a crime can be committed, right? And then after the statute of limitations expires, you're no longer guilty of that crime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typically. I mean, there is like a colloquial use of statute of limitations, which is basically the time that needs to pass for something to be okay.
Okay.
Or for something to lose relevance or importance or whatever.
Gotcha. I've never heard that like that.
I mean, think of like the statute of limitations on spoilers is probably like the most famous colloquial use of it. So they're walking home. They talk about the statute of limitations. And Chitanda, with a little bit of encouragement from Areki, decides to bring in Satoshi and Mayaka to help. We get Satoshi riding up to Areki, greeting him extremely loudly.
I'm just saying Satoshi looks great in that scarf. Fucking love it.
Satoshi is styling. He probably made it in Handicraft Club. When he gets up there, Areki starts kicking his bike and tells him to pipe down, have you no shame.
Yeah,
As
that's
people are
great.
giving him dirty looks.
Yep.
They start bike riding to Chitanda's, and they talk about high school and the colors and how Satoshi is shocking pink.
So this is the one I did watch in dub, by the way.
Okay.
And I laughed quite a bit during their little conversation.
Okay. You want to talk about it?
I mean, I don't know if I don't know what the sub specifically said,
That's fine.
but like he was kind of like low key roasting him the whole trip. It seemed like up until they sat down at the table. Like the last thing I remember him saying was I think he literally announced to everyone, or maybe it was in his head. I don't know, but he said like someone like so undeserving to be at the top head of the table. Talking about
Oh, yeah. He said the same. Yeah. He thinks that his head when Satoshi goes, it's his head. Like, I've never seen someone so undeserving to be at the head of the table. Yep.
Yeah. And like even before that, I think there was some just small little kind of like, playful jabs, but I really, at least in the English version on that one, everything made real like sense. And I think I might actually watch that sub and see if the same joke applies.
Okay.
I remember one of them seemed like some wordplay was going on.
I'm sure. I think there's probably a lot of wordplay. How are you finding the dub? Because I would be extremely worried about Chitanda's voice actor, especially.
I don't know. Everything seemed a little overtly dramatic. And that was, but like it was pretty, common.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I want to ask something real quick. Do you guys have any thoughts about like how they present themselves and each other? Because like when Areki calls him shocking pink or when Satoshi calls him gray, they're clearly like kind of poking fun at each other. But then, at least from Areki's perspective, they kind of go on to internalize those ideas as well and like believe that's who they are. And Satoshi has this whole thing of like, yeah, man, I'm just going through being super colorful and shit in my life. Like, do you have any thoughts currently about how the characterizations of themselves and each other?
I don't think so. Pretty boring answer, but I think that they just seem pretty stable emotionally for them. Like, it's kind of hard to tell again off of like, they seem pretty neutral, right?
Oh my God, this is actually so funny.
What?
I just realized that we broke you with anime more than I realized.
I don't understand.
You are fucking sifting for the melodrama.
Like looking for like other.
Well, like anime is always so like over the top melodramatic and that shit. And I can every time you have to think about one of these characters, you're waiting for the foot to drop where like one turns into Shinji.
Maybe, but like, well, it's just kind of hard because like they're pretty like normal dudes. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean it is a slice of life show.
Yeah, and it's just it's hard to like. I think that they're spot on, and they're currently like he seems the more colorful of the two. He definitely seems like the gray of the two, And they both kind of. It seemed like it was already acknowledged previously, and then the show is just like making sure that you knew. Like it seems like they've known each other like that for a while.
Okay, sure.
They're just double checking in with the audience and making sure, like, hey, just in case you guys haven't got it, here's the base of where we're starting with these guys. They know it. You should know it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I had.
Yeah, so they sit there. Oh, first they get to the house and Satoshi is disappointed that they are not greeted by a servant.
I do like that. That's great.
Oh, did they actually say he was disappointed?
Well, he's like, oh man, this looks like the kind of place that looks like you would be greeted by a servant. And then Chitanda answers the door and he looks a little despondent.
Gotcha. I may have missed the face, but I remember when they first got there, like they stopped and he was like, what? And he goes, wouldn't it be cool if they had a servant?
Yeah. And we go straight to the review meeting. They're going to go around, talk about their research, and we start with Chitanda. Her uncle dropped out and never finished high school, so he only has a middle school education, basically. He was referred to as a warrior, a hero, a sacrifice, and he came up with the name Hyouka for the anthologies. And it all went down around the time of Kanyasai, which is the culture festival.
Also, before that, you forgot to talk about how, what's his name, Awoka? Is that his name? Oreki was thinking about how, I don't know why I cannot remember these names, but...
if you're going to say the head of the table thing, I'm going to scream.
But the head of the table thing.
I take that silence as a yes.
No, it's not that.
Okay.
The main goal, what's her name?
Chitanda.
Yeah, how Chitanda's really good at these meetings, like doing them. And then she's like, who should go first? And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I remember who this girl is now. I just think it was just a really funny scene.
Yeah, that is a good bit.
Yeah.
Chitanda presents her hypothesis, which is rejected.
Almost immediately.
Yeah. Hotaro offers an explanation, which is also rejected. Satoshi talks about student activism.
Which was going on during the time.
Yeah, and then we go to Mayaka's research. But they don't want to do it in the stuffy house anymore, so they're going to go hang out by the pond.
Hell yeah.
We learned that Sekatani was an activist leader. And, that's basically the whole crux of her research. She presents her hypothesis, which is rejected. And, of course, Satoshi is hungry. So Chitanda's going to make everyone some onigiri. Before they go to... Oh, and so while she's doing that, Satoshi presents his research, which is mostly just building on Mayaka's. He uses old school newspapers and basically says, like, yeah, everything she said I kind of got to, but except there was, like, no violence. It wasn't a violent incident, whatever happened. They go to eat the onigiri. Satoshi is very excited about it, to which Mayaka is quite jealous.
It's just a little bit behind, but I also really enjoyed the two guys.
If you're going to talk about the head of the table thing, we already discussed that.
Oh, fuck. Okay, never mind. When she agreed to make the snacks or whatever, like right underneath the breath, I think they gave like a nudge to the dudes or whatever.
What do you mean?
I think Satoshi like kind of nudged Oriki or whatever. And then he was like, I know, shut up. Because like, you know how, I guess, formal it is to make snacks and stuff to make food.
Oh, yeah.
There was a nice little... I picked up on that because of you two guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Which Satoshi is also very much in the camp like, man, this guy is crushing on her super hard. And I'm going to tease him about it every chance I get.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And, and as you said, because, Mayaka she gives a little when Satoshi grabs the onigiri all excited. Mm-hmm. Like, eating her food, what the fuck? Also, a fun little detail, when they're all eating, Mayaka has her hand out to catch any rice that falls, and no one else does.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. Satoshi then declines to offer a hypothesis because databases don't draw conclusions. Any thoughts on that?
I just thought that was kind of funny.
I just think it's funny too.
You don't, but I mean,
no,
that's him. That's him.
We're not reading into it. Mm-mm.
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck do you mean?
You asked us about it, Owens, and me and Anthony both answered the question.
And now I'm going to explain to you dumb goddamn children.
What do you mean?
Let's go ahead, teach.
Take your time, Owens.
Yes, it's funny for him to say that, but it's also him just straight. Basically, okay, so here's the thing. Do you think why would he do that, though? Like, it's obviously, he wouldn't do that for a joke because this is something important. Why would he actually decline to have an idea and fall back on, basically say that, no, I don't have a hypothesis because I can't?
I mean, the way you could look at it, Orange, is he's just saying that so he can always be the good guy in the group or whatever it is. Like, he doesn't want to make no waves or anything like that. Or the way I think of it is he's just he has no like explanation for all the stuff that he's spouting out. He's like, I can't make no heads or tails about it, but I can tell you all the information there is to this point.
Satoshi loves spinning a yarn, though.
And maybe maybe he knows the relationship between him and his best friend. He's the guy who gives out all the data about it, and his best friend is the one that connects everything together. Maybe he just knows his place, which is not a bad thing about it.
I'll give you some of that. I think you are on a track that is close to the right track. Any thoughts, Anthony?
I truly was not reading into this moment. I don't know if I literally missed anything, but as far as I know, he was just like, databases don't draw conclusions, and no one else had an issue with it, so I didn't either.
Okay. It's Areki's turn, and he decided to use that 50-year book.
Wait a second, hold on. Do you think that he just literally skipped his turn? He just literally gave up his conclusion to give it to Oreki because he knew he was going to solve it and thus impress the women even further?
I don't think that at all. Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
There are some things Monkey said in that explanation that I think are 100% true, but not that. Let's just say it's slightly alluding to perhaps the conflict that Satoshi is faced with.
No, don't tell me there's going to be a fucking conflict between these two people.
No, not between
himself.
them. Yeah.
Okay.
But it is Areki's turn. He used the 50-year book, and he realizes that he has no hypothesis. His vision starts to go blurry as everyone's like, hey, man, your turn. What's going on? Lucky for him, it starts to rain, and Chitanda left her shiitake mushrooms out, so she has to go get those. Oreki escapes to the bathroom. He's given instructions that it's down the hallway to the right, which is pretty much every single door, so he gets lost. He sees an open door, and it's Chitanda's room. He kind of peeks in a little bit, then pulls back, getting a little nervous, like, ooh, her room. They're like, oh shit, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah, he realized how povey he is, so he's like, I should not be here.
But he does notice all the research that she has been putting into it, then goes into his mind palace effectively to come up with something. There's a little bit of light teasing when he gets back, and then we jump into his explanation where he says the cause was the culture festival. They tried to shorten it from a 5-day run, and the students basically revolted on that. Everyone pretty much accepts his theory and is like, yep, cool. Good job, Areki. You're so smart. Except Mayaka. She's like, God damn it. This fucking guy. He's always getting it.
Solve it.
I'm going to like her.
Mayaka rules. Everyone then leaves Chitanda's house, and she thinks one last time that if Areki's theory is correct, why did she cry?
I did. I think I did an audible. I literally did that. I think my mic would have fucking picked it up if it was recording.
After the explanation, I'm like, there's no way this is the answer. Why is the fucking book missing? Like, why did she cry? I'm just like, I'm thinking about it. And why is the fucking uncle missing? There must be a reason why he's been missing for so long.
He's in India.
Okay, so
The uncle, hold on.
Is that, okay, I'm just going to say, is that all we can discuss about this episode?
That is all. That is the end of episode 4. Yes.
Okay, so I guess I want to put some theories down.
Yeah.
So something I do want to discuss though. Owens, does the uncle mystery finish in this anime? Does it finish?
Do you both want an answer to that?
I want to know because I want to put out some theories, and if I cannot get the answers in this anime, fuck the theories.
If I remember correctly, it will be resolved in the next 4 episodes.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. First of all, Anthony, you think the uncle's dead or alive?
They all fucking know.
Anthony, don't be like Areki. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Just make a hypothesis.
I mean, there's a difference between like at this point and like making a educated guess off zero information. Like that just doesn't work in my head. But I want him to be alive.
Okay, so you're gonna say alive.
Will you accept that?
You must be really fun to play poker with.
I'm gonna put for Ant. I'm gonna say alive for the uncle, and I also think the uncle's alive. So I'm gonna put me. I'm writing this down so when we fuck it up, we have some kind of stuff.
So you both think the currently presented theory is at least partially incorrect.
Oh, why is the book missing? Mm-hmm. There must be a reason why the fucking first book is missing.
Wait, well, I don't know why the theory would.
Do you think Areki was right and that's it? Like he solved it? Or do you think they're missing something?
Wait. Oh, I am sorry. I am splitting two things. I am splitting like the fact that the uncle has been So the uncle, this happened 45 years ago. The uncle's only been missing for 7 years.
Yep.
So I don't see the connection between what happened then and what happens now, or what happened 7 years ago.
There isn't.
Oh, there isn't? Okay, well.
I don't think so, but that'd be kind of wild if there was, because it's been 40 years.
So, I mean, I think his theory's on the right track, and I think he's on, like, there may be a couple missing details, but I think he's pretty much got most of it figured out. But I have no idea if that relates at all to the fucking, like, death of the thing.
I think that's just to put a time pressure on solving it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so what do you think the uncle did? You think it's whatever the guy said?
Great question. That's what I had.
Yeah, I just answered it.
You think that's it? You think he was just an active? Well, okay.
Oh no, I think there's one big detail missing, which I don't know what it is.
What do you think it is? What do you think? Just guess.
You told me not to guess the mysteries on this anime.
No, I told you not to spend all your time trying to solve them and focus on the characters. But you can guess on this because it's fun.
Jesus Christ.
Hurry up, Anthony. What are you doing, dude? Come on, guess.
I'm not guessing. Nope. Fuck y'all.
All right, Monkey. What do you think he did?
I don't know. It has to be the fact that he either got kicked out of school.
Well, he did.
Well, yeah. It has to be where he gets kicked out of school, but it has to be something that people don't want to remember, but people do want to remember it.
That's actually a really good point, because it is referenced that way, in that, like, he did something that at the time made him great, but now people maybe don't look at it in the same light. Any other thoughts, questions, anything?
I will say I went into like the first two and a half episodes like, nope, not gonna like this at all. And then episode 4 happened, and then like hearing us discuss it or whatever, giving a couple of your prefaces.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I would have heard those at the beginning, I think I would have been more into the first couple episodes.
Yeah, I wish I had thought about them before I watched them.
Because I was very much like, dude, this is so boring.
Even after we talk about it, I still think the anime is boring. But it's a fun discuss about random stuff that happens.
I knew Monkey was going to be bored. I figured I had like a... Anthony, in my mind, could go either way on this one. I feel like I had like a 60% chance of winning you over.
Yeah, we're still there. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I'm just bored, and I don't know. I think it's just because it doesn't have no comedy. There's some funny parts, but it's not like...
It's almost like life, dude.
Yeah.
Or a slice of it, anyway.
Who wants to watch Life?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of /life people who like it. So, I mean, I'm the majority over here.
I don't think it being boring is like an unpopular opinion. I could totally see how people would be bored. It's literally just kids talking pretty much the entire time without any fucking wacky anime hijinks. Favorite characters?
Right now with the little Kanai got to go on Satoshi and Mayaka.
I mean, it's Satoshi all the way. He wears a scarf. Scarf's so dope.
Not digging Roki's vibe.
Yeah, I think you're still caught up on the idea that he's just going to be a giant shithead, Anthony.
Yeah, at the moment, yeah. I mean, or at least I was, and then like I mean, he'll be fine, but I just need him to change his motto. It's so dumb.
That's a good motto.
It's not a good motto.
So, thanks for listening, everyone. If you want to know where you can get in contact with us on socials or whatever, listen after the music where we plug all that stuff. And otherwise, see you next time on My First Anime.
Monkey's out. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks as always for listening. We decided to smash through fate and forge our own futures by launching a Patreon. You can check that out over on patreon.com/myfirstanime, where hopefully by this point we figured out some cool shit to do. Or if you would just like to leave us a review and rating on wherever you get your podcasts, that helps as well.
And also, I am winging this. Also has wings, Twitter. So at us, at My First Anime, and other shenanigans, talk about how awesome I am. That's Salvador, also Monkey. Just leave comments about me is what I'm asking for. I'm also plugging, I guess, my stream on twitch.tv/stmonkey with a 0.
And if you want to email us, our email address is myfirstanimepodcast@gmail.com. And you can check out pictures of my cat on Instagram and Twitter under the handle of Sir Paperplate.
See you next time on
My
first anime.
Did it in one.
Perfect.